Hi folks, BrickSidious here, back with another LEGO Star Wars video. I'll be comparing 3 of the droid buildable figures in the LEGO catalog, all from the last few years. We'll start with the oldest on the left, famous R2-D2 75308 from the year 2021, 2,300 pieces. And this one was pretty expensive because of the size, $240, and you get one little R2 minifigure. This is a follow-up to the UCS R2-D2. I don't think this one is considered UCS, but there's another one which maybe it's a little bit bigger, from the 2010s era. That was considered UCS. I sold that one a while ago. I actually didn't build it right, so the third leg, the mechanism, it wouldn't telescope up and down properly, so that was a bummer. But this one, I believe I built it correctly, and it has all, the typical R2 functions you'd expect to see. Like, there are these buttons that push out his what do you call it, little tool panels here. And you get like the flamethrower and the USB dongle or whatever you call it that plugs into the Imperial computers. And then these little ports open up to the blue colored, which I forget what they do in the movie, but more tools and whatnot. The head rotates around. And yeah, there's some gaps here and things. It's less blocky than the first generation one, but it could use some work. And then his little periscope. I thought there was a port on this guy that would conceal the lightsaber. Luke's lightsaber that R2 shoots to him in Return of the Jedi, but maybe I was mistaken. But anyway, this one looks really good, especially from afar where the blockiness is less visible. No stickers, yeah, all the interactive functions here. Definitely a crowd pleaser. The only complaint is the price tag. And then next you have 75335 BD-1 from the video game Jedi Fallen Order. Let me bring him out to the front. The funny thing with this guy is he's roughly life size, because in the game, he would sit on Cal Kestis' shoulder and whatnot. So I think the height here is about probably 12 inches. So yeah, R2 is a little taller. Here, the price was 100 and about 1,000 pieces. So just a display set. I don't think there's any interactive elements here. I forget if BD had, tricks in the game where he would show hidden tools and whatnot. But I really the cool thing how it is kind of nearly life size, and it's kind of like an AT-ST walker on 2 legs. It can hold itself up pretty well. A lot of good details, greebling in the back, and in the game this is like a illuminated, some sort of computer screen where these illuminated lights would flicker and change, so give the figure a little bit of life. And in the game, yeah, of course, all the droids make really cute noises. They're all good. BD, it's short for like buddy. It's a good friend. And then lastly, you have the newest one here, Chopper from Star Wars Rebels, of course, 75416, also $100, also about 1,000 pieces. But you can see kind of the size difference is just quite jarring. I think Chopper is roughly the size of R2 in the show, but here, I guess 1,000 pieces. A lot of it is really, again, 1x1s, tiny little details and stuff. I like this character. He's very funny in the show, always like complaining and getting the short end of the stick. always saving the heroes, and he has these appendages, that grab things and whatnot. You can fold it in there, and a little play feature in the back where his head will tilt, while he's like complaining and lecturing you. And then let me turn around in the back. Yeah, decent amount of leg detail and whatnot. But it's just funny. Looking at the box, the box is a pretty decent size, and I was just expecting this to be taller. We're looking at maybe, I don't know, 7 inches here. But I think you can't really compare Chopper to R2, which is double the price, double the size, and bricks. I forgot, but I believe there was a $100 R2-D2 also that came out with where you could get the Dark Malak 25th anniversary figure. I never bought that because I already had the big R2, but I believe that R2 is more comparable to Chopper, so it's probably like this height or something. But because of the size, fewer tools and kind of interactive movement details with the figure. So yeah, I mean, Chopper, I have to admit, was disappointing just because of the size, but I think that Lego shrinkflation and whatnot, this is just how it is, like with the MIDI scale vehicles and these kind of $100 smaller droid sets. Maybe they're trying to be more accessible to the casual adult builders or kids who don't have the shelf space or the resources to buy a ton of the $200 to $500 UCS sets. I understand that, but this being the only Chopper in existence right now, it would have been cool if he was a little bigger. But I respect them for keeping it to $100. Although, yeah, I don't know what their profit margin is on it. You do get the little Chopper minifigure. I mean, the droid figures, unless they're kind of a unusual color scheme, they're pretty, they're not exclusive. But these were fun to build. It definitely feels more like engineering because you're building a robot, with legs and a chassis and things. Excuse me, and in some cases, kind of like functional appendages and tools. So it's a different experience than like vehicles or Star Wars buildings. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see what droid Lego makes next. There's also that one that the green and white one. I think his name's like D.O. or something from the sequel trilogy. That I'm not really a fan of those movies. I never bought that figure, but I think that one's pretty cheap, because it's not that popular, easy to obtain, but just the design is kind of not that interesting to me with the wheel, and kind of the cone-shaped head, and I don't think he has any cool tools. So anyway, yeah, wrapping it up here. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time, and may the Force be with you.